TV3 New Day. It is Thursday morning, and so our ladies are here. Good morning to you if you're tuned in. Thank you so much for choosing TV3 New Day. We're streaming live on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. You can also find us on Twitter or X and on Instagram at TV3 Ghana. The hashtag is TV3 New Day. And remember, we're cashing out today as well. So play the game and make sure you get 1,000 Ghana cedis free of charge, just like that. All you have to do is to dial *439#, select option 2, which represents TV3 Ghana. So remember that once you dial *439#, it will give you some options to select from. And these are channels that operate under Media General. And so choose number 2, which is TV3, and just relax and wait and win 1,000 Ghana cedis. This morning, we're giving out 4,000 Ghana cedis. So 4 of you get to win 1,000 Ghana cedis each. It can be you only if you play that game. Remember, if you do not use an MTN chip, then unfortunately you cannot play this game. So grab one quickly or call a friend. Do it and share the money. You never know. But anyway, this morning it's a full house. We haven't seen her in a while. We're glad that she's back. We have the Deputy CEO of the National Youth Authority, Akusia Menu, joining us for a conversation. Hi.
Hi.
Where have you been?
Oh, the last time I was here, I think it was Roland. You were not.
Oh, I wasn't around. So where have I been rather? No, but I've been back for a while and I haven't seen you. But it's good to see you.
In a couple of weeks.
But everything okay?
Yes, everything.
You've been busy campaigning. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going well.
Who are you campaigning for?
You know, I've actually been.
Oh, for yourself?
For myself. Yes.
You're not campaigning for any of the.
For the presidential aspirants. I mean, it's clear, it's obvious who's going to win on November 4th.
It is?
Yes.
Who's that?
Yes. It's the vice president.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You think it's clear?
Yes, I think it's clear. The signal is.
Because you're supporting him, or because.
Beyond believing in his candidature, I honestly. If we were to look, there's not enough data to compare special delegates conferences to outcomes. But even with the current president, he won the special delegates with about 81%, and then went on to win the national delegates with 94%. So if there's a progression, then I would say, okay, then that's what's going to happen. But
I see.
It's quite telling that in certain regions, the count was overwhelming. For example, Ashanti region, for instance, was,
in Northeast, where you have been accused of.
Oh, yeah, there's a
manipulating
there, yes.
Things. But anyway, well.
It's pretty clear that he's a strong candidate and has the support of the base.
I see. Well, Nanaya Chimpim Janto also joins us. She's the General Secretary for the CPP. Always here with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. It's been, a couple of days since I saw you. You were here last week. I didn't see you last week.
You've not been around.
Oh, I'm sorry. So now I'm the one accusing people of not being here. Meanwhile, I'm the one who hasn't been here. But I hope you've had a good week.
Yeah, it's been.
Is it obvious Dr. Bawumia is winning November 4th?
Dr. Bawumia? There are so many of them. Which one are you talking
Oh,
about?
Dr. Bawumia? Which one again?
He has a brother called Dr. Bawumia.
Oh, we're talking MPP Super Delegates Conference.
I thought we are not on that topic.
Okay, so is that in a way telling us you don't think he's going to win, or you'd rather not say?
But did he win this one? I mean, what he got wasn't impressive.
It wasn't?
Yeah, with all the support. I thought he was going to get about 90%. Are we on that topic? Because
No, we're not. I'm just asking. This is just prelims.
Yeah, but he didn't. I don't think he won. The way everybody was Dr. Bawumia.
You expected more?
Yes, I expected more.
You hold on with this. We'll come back to this topic.
But I mean, what he got, I mean, truly with all the support, he should rather concentrate on building the economy.
Okay.
And stop doing what he's doing.
Okay. All right. And we haven't seen Margot in a while as well. I hope she doesn't also tell me I am the one who hasn't been here in a while. But as for you, Margot, we haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been? Margaret Sansei represents the NPP. She's a member of the communications team.
NPP.
NDC, pardon me. Hey, Margaret, what's happening? Does it mean that's maybe indirectly?
They won't even accept me.
That was a slip of tongue. But good morning to you as well. How are you doing?
Well, I'm good. I'm good. You two haven't seen you in a week. I know. I had few engagements, and my kid sister got married last weekend.
Congratulations!
And,
to her.
big sister, so I have to do all that. I mean, but I've been around.
I see.
I've been around.
It's good to see that you're doing well.
Yeah, nice seeing you. I've missed you,
Oh, I missed you as well.
I met one of our mates.
Oh, recently?
I was padding. I heard greatest, and I knew where it was coming
Exactly, exactly. Anyway, good morning to all our mates as well from GIJ, the PR Masters class. But let's get into our conversation this morning. The first part of it is all about Nam1, and the Attorney General has filed new charges against Nana Appiah Mensah, the CEO of defunct gold trading company Menzgold. Now, even before this, there was a case that was ongoing in court for 3 years, but it suffered 36 adjournments. For some reason, the case was not, able to come to finality because it had to be adjourned for one reason or the other. And the prosecutors on that case had mentioned that they were waiting for some advice from the Attorney General in order to proceed, and that could have been one of the reasons why things were at a standstill for a long time. But finally, the Attorney General has gotten involved in this, and he's filed those new charges. In fact, 39 counts against Nam1, and he's been accused of using Menzgold to defraud more than 16,000 people at a tune of 1.68 billion Ghana cedis. Let's take a look at the counts quickly. And then we'll get into the conversation. But also the spokesperson or convener for aggrieved Menzgold customers has been speaking as well. Excuse me. So first count, it says that selling gold contrary to Section 99(1) of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703. That's one count. And then the other one, operating a deposit-taking business without a license contrary to Section 6(1) and 22(1) of the Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions Act 2016, Act 930. That's another count. Then there's one count as well on inducement to invest contrary to Section 344 of the Companies Act 2019, Act 992. Then defrauding by false pretense contrary to Section 13(1) of the Criminal and Other Offences Act 1960, Act 29. And that alone has 22 counts. Exactly. And then also fraudulent breach of trust contrary to Section 128 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, 7 counts on that one. And then another 7 counts on money laundering contrary to Section 12A1 of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020, Act 1044. Now, in all this, it's saying that when Nam1 set up the company, it started from Men's Bank and then also moved on to another Men's Bank. So there was a K at one point, and then it moved to C, and then to Menzgold. In all that, they had not been issued a license to operate as the gold depositing company that would trade in gold locally. Now, all they could do was buy gold and trade or export it. But for some reason, it got to a point where they were trading it locally. SEC issued a statement warning Ghanaians not to invest in this. That fell on deaf ears. And then eventually, Bank of Ghana also had to step in and talk about this matter as well. In all of this, recently, we've seen that Nam1 also issued a statement asking for their aggrieved customers to pay some 650 Ghana cedis in order to verify their claims and get their money back. And in some instances, we're told that some of these customers, after sending that 650 Ghana cedis waiting to be paid, we're told that they'll be paid sometime in 2025. Many questions have been raised about why Nam1 is still walking free, why the case has delayed in court, 36 adjournments. And finally, the Attorney General has waded into this matter. Let's hear from the convener for the aggrieved Menzgold customers, who says that it's about time something is done about this.
Some relief to you, the Attorney General, is it not?
Yes, I think, I believe so, because more or less we want justice to prevail. And so if they still think that Menzgold, Brew Marketing, and Mr. Nana Appiah Mensah did something untoward, or they breach the law, we expect justice to be done, or they face the law, so that at the end of the day, whoever, whatever happens, we know that at least they have gone through the law, especially to bring some relief to some the customers, because we believe that we have not been treated fairly.
So you've not been treated fairly. What do you mean?
Especially even with the state itself and by Nana Appiah Mensah, because Alfred, if you recall, this incident happened in 2018. That is when the company shut down. As we speak, customers have not been able to retrieve their money. And anytime we want to go after Nam1, we are told that the matter is in court. So for today's action, I think the charges have been crystallized. And so we would also expect or call on the Attorney General to kind of speed up the trial so that we can bring some finality to the issue. We believe that this can also run concurrently with the civil aspect, where we as a group or as a group, we are fighting for the retrieval of our money, i.e., we are talking to the government and we expect the government to bail us out.
I see. This is part of the 61 charges that he was slapped with earlier.
That was the earlier charge.
Okay.
Yes.
You have said that he moves around with a police escort?
Yes, yes.
Nana Pia Mensah?
Yes, as far
even
as
now?
I can recall, even on the 26th of July when he came to court, we were there. He has state security personnel around him.
And you petitioned the IGP on that?
We have petitioned the IGP. We have asked that they reverse the deployment of state security around him.
What's been the response?
We haven't had any response, and even went further and called for his arrest, because the activities that he's been doing for the past couple of weeks, we believe that it is immoral, it is unfair. Because
what do you mean?
You are indebted to us. How do you ask us to come and buy a so-called verification access card at a cost of 650 Ghana cedis?
Well, some of you paid.
And unfortunately, some paid. Some of them may be out of desperation. Others, they really wanted to test the system and know what is happening. And they paid. And even he's giving them some ridiculous date for payment. Some of them, he scheduled them for May 20th, 2025.
2025.
For payment, for them to be paid by him. I'm telling you, you won't believe this.
Wow.
I'm telling you, even the rush and his call for people to go and do this verification that he has even given them deadline for.
Mm-hmm.
The scheduled date for payment
is 2025.
2025.
So that is Fred Forson. He's the convener for the aggrieved Menzgold customers. And of course, I'll start off with you because he said something very emphatic that, government has not been fair to them. Number one, has not been fair to them. The whole situation has not been fair to them because they've been trying for many years, 3 years and counting, to retrieve their monies that are locked up in the defunct Menzgold. But for some reason, there's one excuse or the other because the case is in court. And now finally, the Attorney General has stepped in. Have we waited a little too long?
Good morning once again, Bella, and to my sisters on here. When it comes to Menzgold and its issues, I find it very difficult to. I need to choose my words carefully. I recall when concerns were raised about the investment process and the payouts. This is a monthly return of 7 to 10%. Higher than any other traditional investment institution in the country. The same Menzgold customers or investors said it was not government's business where they invest money, and after all, it wasn't that they got the money from government. In fact, some went as far as saying that people are just jealous of Namwan's entrepreneurial spirits and drive and his concern for people to actually get what they deserve in investment. Let's take it back to when it first came out. The first notice was served by BOG in 2016.
It was 2015, actually.
2015,
yes.
Okay. Now, when that notice was served by the BOG, I believe that the customers had ample time to realize that this is something that we need to look at again, because if BOG is raising a red flag, we need to be mindful. Subsequently, that was ignored. I didn't see, well, some people were, I don't know the quantum of investors that took their monies out. But then it comes to July 2017, when there was yet another warning that this time BOG saying that Menzgold was carrying out illegal deposit-taking activities. Again, as to the back and forth on who pulled out their investments or not, I do not have that data. Then we get to 2018, another public notice reiterating previous warnings. Now, this is a window. I had my data at 2016. You're saying 2014.
2015, actually. That's what I have.
So between that, you have a window of 3 years with enough public notice and discussions. What I believe brought credibility for him is his effective, quote unquote, I'll put that in quotes, PR machinery. He was advertising across channels, radio, TV, and if you have these platforms advertising, it sends a certain signal to people that there's credibility on the part of the business.
Yeah.
So you can have a little sympathy for the investments. But if the discussion comes up that this is illegal, it shouldn't be done, then you need to quickly take heed and take the necessary measures to get your investment out. Now, another formal notice, 2018, October again, December again, and then currently, no, after that, he couldn't. Yes, he couldn't meet depositors. There was a rush on them to take monies out. Conversations that he issued several weird notices, disclaimers, and whatnot, which wasn't helpful in any way. But it comes down to the current situation. If for the last, it's been since 2018 that they shut down, it's been 5 years, and people have invested sums that sometimes they don't want to disclose fully how much they invested. Some will tell you they did 100,000, when in fact they did 400,000.
In fact, there are millions, 20 million.
You hear those who did
the
millions
AG's report,
and whatnot. And they are looking at even his lifestyle and the fact that he seems to carry himself a certain way. But the law doesn't necessarily, the company is different from the man. But the point of pain for me is his ability to think of a new scheme to validate your investment. And people fell for that again, because listening to the rep, 650 Ghana cedis, even if he had out of the 16,000, even 1,000 people doing that,
that's a lot of money.
Raised under 1 million cedis within a day. And more would want to be sure, because once they do it, I saw a Facebook post with the 650 and the narration via text. And I realized that this was going to be another problem, because that money will be raised. As to where to go will be a problem. Now, when it comes to the AG, as to the adjournments and whatnot, I do not have the information why it's taking the process it's taking. But clearly, pressure, there's huge public outcry calling for his head now. And it's interesting that the people that said we are being, by and large, jealous of his business acumen and his visionary whatever, are now the person saying that why isn't government taking on? You can't just take somebody on and throw them in jail. You just can't do that. You have to go through a certain process. What will be of interest to me is how the AG will pierce that corporate veil, separating the man from the company. Because when you look at the counts, there were 2 other companies that were added to it, meaning that the subsidiaries is like a nice cartel of, money. I wouldn't say money laundering, but it raises questions. I believe that this is an opportunity for people to learn. This isn't the first time something of this sort has happened in Ghana.
Which is why I was wondering why government didn't clamp down, and the rights authorities also didn't clamp down, beyond just issuing statements to the public, asking them not to invest in it. I mean, this is a company that didn't have the license it was operating with. How did we sit down and allow them to operate? Because it was set up in 2013. Between 2013 and 2018, the only license that Menzgold had was to buy gold locally and export, and not to trade locally. But they did that for a number of years, even before all these statements came out asking that they stop, trading in the business. Beyond the statements, what did we do to clamp down on the business, even if people were still investing?
I believe that beyond the notices that went out, as far back as 2018, there was an official notice to shut them down.
Yeah, but that was after.
Yes, but I in terms of the processes to shut people down, it doesn't just, it's not based on feelings. Whatever the law says, that's what you do. You first notify customers. And in notifying customers, what I feel he does best is to position himself in a way where the law there's a window for him to escape. I'm saying this because sometimes till a problem is posed, then you realize that there are not enough laws in the country to actually protect or mitigate white-collar crimes. So it's obvious that he's running a scheme. What are the laws that prevent that? Even with the advent of financial fintech, you have platforms where people are trading and you can't even track well the volumes the income generated. It even comes all the way back to the betting conversation, which has become very sensitive. That there is an ecosystem where people are clearly making a lot of money, but what governs it? What protects people that get into it? My issue though is that for the people that we try to protect, they are the same ones who say we don't need your protection because this is something that we have used our own resources and we are okay investing in it. We do not care whether you feel it's wrong or not. And this was a position that they actually had for a long time whilst the warnings were on there. As to whether, and it comes back to, it's a valid question because I don't want to talk for the Securities and Exchanges Commission. I was hoping that would have placed a call to them to also find out why it took that long in terms of even coming to understand that their processes were not valid. And in terms of a license, you revoke a license. How long does it take for a body to sit down to say this is not right and we need to clamp it? It's a long window. I do agree with you that it's too long a window and it poses a threat to people, innocent people who are on the sides, because what happens is they actually recruit people to come and invest. Exactly. And sometimes people don't even listen to radio or TV or whatnot. There's an investment, they don't even check, because with him, now when you pull up his name, you realize that in 2012, there was a similar company he had set up, which defrauded 53 people. And the only reason that story came up was because the officer who investigated, thankfully, was still alive and said, this gentleman, myself, I arrested him. And it was 53 persons at the time that he had defrauded. So he goes on and rebrands himself. For me, it highlights the institution's failings, whatever it is, be 2012, 2016, 2018, doesn't matter. It's still the same Ghana we're in.
So we're failed Ghanaians, which is what you're saying.
I wouldn't say we failed Ghanaians.
The institutions have failed Ghanaians?
The institutions could have acted faster. I do not know why there was a lag. That's what I want to understand. It was there collusion. Who in BOG saw that 2016 this was an issue to say that we're not allowing him to continue function and the way businesses run, Bella, you wouldn't necessarily, it's not like the tech is such that there's a map, there's a digital map of companies where you see red, green, blue, where you get it. The internal processes can sometimes fail you just do audit. The other time, somebody was making a claim that they were looking for some information, and it turned out that the one who was the auditor was actually unwell, but hadn't communicated the findings of the issues. So on that score, you just might think that, okay, so everything is fine. You understand?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Menzgold is not the first of its kind. DKB, I remember, was this Sunyani or something? This was 2014.
There were quite a number of them, yes.
The minute you take your money, they give you a plasma TV or a fridge. There's all these, perks and prizes, which is so attractive to people. But you know what they say, when it's too good to be true, it's actually too good to be true. And this is something that people should keep in mind.
Okay.
Subsequently, I want to see how the AG will handle this because, of course, there's a lot of interest. And I won't speak for the AG. Okay. But I believe that what we want to see is that justice for the quote-unquote innocent investors they would have their day.
Now, if you look at it, I mean, per the AG's brief facts, it says here that as at 2015, March 11, 2015, BOG had issued a public notice that Men's Bank was not licensed to operate as a deposit-taking business under the guise of gold trading without the requisite license. They went ahead to still rebrand to Menzgold. All this while, when there was a statement out there, they still went ahead to rebrand and they were still operating and collecting monies from people under the guise of gold trading. Then SEC comes in 3 years later in 2018 to also issue a statement saying that, the business was operating without a license. There is a lacuna in there. Between those 3 years or within those 3 years, why did the institutions not act on it and still allowed and watched on for people to invest their monies in this business?
Bella, thank you very much. Good morning to your viewers and Good morning to my CPP comrades. Good morning to my friend Abdul Latif Dan, and good morning to my sisters. Bella, when I saw that and I asked, why is the Attorney General in this? Is this not a case between the depositors and Menzgold? Because sometimes, let's be very fair, when we bring in government into this matter, maybe it's the institutional side of it, where the bodies did not act. But it was the duty of Bank of Ghana and SEC to make attempts. I don't know which body will do the actual closing down. But it is their duty to make sure that if somebody is operating within a certain space which is illegal, that group has to be dealt with. And I don't think why we bring in government into some of these things, because it is our will that we went there to invest. Because if you carry some amount of money, say 20 million Ghana cedis, and invest in a place where it's not a bank, you don't ask questions. Because you are getting some kind of returns which is attractive. I know somebody who closed down her whole business and put the capital that he has into
Menzgold.
But their argument is also that before it was closed down, he was giving them their dividends.
They actually argued that don't prosecute him. Let him continue working to pay
To pay, yeah.
Do you get me? So who closed the place down? Was he making good money for them? Whatever business he was investing their money in,
No,
was he getting any dividend?
they created another company
Yeah.
that said we are now selling gold.
Yes. But the point is that, was it working? How he was doing it, nobody knows about it. When I saw it initially, I thought that he was actually selling gold. Because everywhere in Ghana, you saw Menzgold.
Yeah.
So what was he doing that he was able to pay them till a point where somebody intervened or a group intervened? So when you speak to the people who invested in there, they said that they were being paid their dividend. And it was very constant. So what actually happened? The point is that we as Ghanaians, we need to be careful. When I go to the bank and I want to do any investment, or anybody at all, you interrogate how you are going to get an interest on it. You interrogate the percentage of the interest. You know it's a valid bank. So you deal with them legally. We have DKM or DKB or something. We also had Piram. I don't know how old you are.
I remember
Piram.
I was quite young when I heard about it.
Yes, Piram. And people rushed to Piram and lost money. The DKM or DKB, they lost
DKM, yeah.
Now, Menzgold. I think it's time for us to start learning and to be careful about how we manage our finances. Even though there are systemic failures, we also have a duty to be responsible with some of these things. Because you see, when you go and invest this, and when you were doing it, government wasn't there with you. It's even possible that if you had been told not to do it, you would have still gone ahead. You put pressure on government to retrieve your money for you.
Is that wrong for Ghanaians to ask for governments to step in and help them get their monies back?
No, I am saying that we need to be careful. You get me? Because it has happened before. The next one is the failure of public education and awareness in this country. It has always been a failure. Because when SEC and Bank of Ghana issued a notice, they left it there. They should have gone beyond just issuing a statement to do announcements. Have identified the people who are putting their money there. Have stakeholder engagements with these people. For them to know exactly what they are putting themselves into. Nobody engaged them. Nobody spoke to them. And to think that some of these people might be not too learned, they might not even listen to radio.
A lot of them are learned. A lot of them are educated.
You see, there are two things. So People can be educated but not learned. You might have a degree, but you are not learned. Because you are not interested in what goes on around you. You don't read beyond what you already know. You don't inquire. You are not learned. You understand? You don't know, you don't delve into matters. There are people who don't, there are people who are lawyers. They don't watch TV. Yeah. They don't read anything beyond the law. Maybe law and football. Yes, so they don't actually know what it is. So that today if Jesus is coming, they will not even know. They will be reading Thought and watching Tottenham Hotspurs. Then Jesus will come and go. And they will not go with him. So the point is that if you are doing public education of such a nature, which is of social economic ramifications, which affects the pockets of people, you need to go beyond the ordinary. But I believe Ghanaians should start learning that quick money is not beautiful money. Quick money has issues. Because you should tell yourself, especially if you're a businessman or woman, that how come this person can give me such a high interest rate? All I believe he was doing was I collect money from A, then I give it to B. He wasn't investing. So at a point, even if the place wasn't closed down, he became constricted. Because now he couldn't do that thing that he was doing, turning the money around. So he would have collapsed anyway. And such a person, I believe, knew what the end was. Because now you see, the guy, I find it very difficult to label people. But I can say today that Namwan is a fraudster.
Why is he walking about freely then?
He's walking about freely because I believe the people who say you see, the people who say that their money is with Namwan, they themselves appear to be vulnerable. Like the spokesperson say he goes around with state security, and so what?
Isn't that of concern?
No, if he goes around with state security, has it got to do with anything?
Well, clearly being protected, and he's saying that they've been in court. Well, he says that he has state security supporting him or protecting him. But yes, at the same time, he says that they've been in court. And, you know, his assets were seized by Yoko. Now, they sent a letter to Yoko to find out, because Yoko had said that they were going to seize those assets, sell them or auction them so that they can use that to refund the monies to them. Now, they sent a letter to them. Yoko says that we're working on it, we'll be back. And the only time they're hearing about it now is in the AG statement, where it says at the end that, and let me just read exactly what it said. In the course of investigations, a number of vehicles were recovered from the accused persons which have been auctioned, and the proceeds kept in an exhibit account. Some gold bars were also recovered from the accused persons. And they're saying that, so if Yoko had seized all these ones, why have they not been auctioned? And if they've been auctioned and monies have been retrieved, why have these monies not been given to them? And they're still in court trying to get their money.
Dear, look at the money they are mentioning. Me, I can't even mention it.
1.68 billion.
1.6 something billion. How much are those cars that they have auctioned? Cars. A car is not a property.
There were some gold bars.
How much? Yeah, it depreciates.
The minute you take it out.
Do you get me? Gold bars. How many gold bars? This is big money that we are talking about. So how much did they get out of the cars? How much did they get? It's even possible those cars might not be in his name. The man knows what he's doing. The man is a crook. Because look at the scheme that he has come up with. They come and pay 650 and go through the process to retrieve your money. If I have 20 million with NAM1, you tell me come and pay 650 to retrieve, I will do that. And now he has 650,000 Ghana cedi if there were 1,000 customers, which is about $54,000. People owe you, and they are still vulnerable. I am saying that for them to come from a point of vulnerability, they should conglomerate themselves and find a good lawyer to sue NAM1.
The class action lawsuit.
That is all, class action lawsuit. Because I do not understand why they are dependent on Attorney General going through the process. The money is yours. It is not for government. So you think government should be so committed to retrieve money that you willingly put in a place.
So AG should not have intervened?
No, if he has to intervene, fine. But for me, the most effective is for all of them to get a good lawyer to sue number one.
Okay. Margot, do you agree to that?
Thank you, Bella. Good morning to you, your cherished viewers, and good morning to the NDC fraternity, our national executives from the branch to the highest, then our flag bearer, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Well, my sisters have spoken about the moral aspect, how it began and all that. Today, I heard the Fred. He's
a convener for the aggrieved Menzgold customers.
That they are calling for his arrest and they need speed to the issue. I think in law, one of the maxims of equity is that they say delay defeats equity. The Attorney General of this country only has the prosecutorial powers to prosecute on behalf of the state or the citizens. This case began, Nanwan was arrested somewhere July 12, 2019, 5 years on. I understand from the statement yesterday that he's been appeared in court for 36 times, yet he hasn't pleaded guilty to anything. They have not even begun trial.
Yeah.
And yesterday, as of 30th of August, 2023, all those old cases had been dropped and they are now starting a new one.
61 counts of those.
And I asked, what stopped the Attorney General from starting the case and even amending the charge sheet along the line?
Isn't that what he has done?
5 years now. Bella, delay defeats equity. There are about 1 million Menzgold customers, according to them. About 210 are dead. How do you give equity to the 210? Also, it also defeats accountability. Bella, this person needs to account to the individuals he's offended and to the state and the authorities as well. The people who are dead today, how do they get accountability? Bella, also, you know, this delay, my focus is on the delay because they've already gone into other issues. I don't want to burden viewers with wordiness. This delay, you know, a person has been arrested. He has not even, his trial has not even opened. He's been to courts in and out like 36 times. Don't you think it will erase the presumption of guilt on him? One, you are not guilty until proven.
Yeah.
But the point is that the ample time gives you the room to maneuver, to meander, you know, to prepare yourself, to get things together so that your case will look good. But at the time given him automatically will make him prepare himself well, irrespective of how the case will go. The time on his side is benefiting him. So whose interest is the AG representing? Bella, and also, this delay, people are dead, some are bedridden, some are down with stroke and other things. How do you call witnesses? It might even be that some of the dead, may their souls rest in peace, could have given a very good testimony to make the case rich.
But there are some witnesses, if you look at the statements by the Attorney General, names have been mentioned with the figures, the amounts that they invested.
I understand.
So those people could be called to also give their testimony.
My point is that, what if the deceased, one of them, could have a certain information that could make the case go well? That is my point. My focus is on the delay.
Okay.
Since it is the AG who only has those powers to prosecute, and we have sat on, looking on, this guy is working freely. I don't even want to touch his person because the case is in court. But my point is that, where is the interest of the states that we've looked on for the past 5 years, and we are now coming to open the case? I think it has been moved from the circuit court, is now going to the high court. You know, it's good that he's come in and he's shown interest, but the delay has also caused a lot that cannot be remedied. That is the point that I want to drive at. That in as much as some of us were talking about state institutions, whatever, we must also do things in such a way that citizens will have so much confidence in our judiciary system, because this will dwindle the confidence of the people in the law. And it's not going to help. Pella, look at the case of Ahmed Swale. look at the case of Major Captain...
Major Mahama.
Captain Major Mahama. Yeah, that one. They are still in court.
And the 9 people who died during the election.
They are still in court and the case hasn't ended. My point is, if the AG...
In JB Dankwa.
If the AG can have so much interest in a misdemeanor case like Jachi Kwesi, calling for daily trial, what stopped them from calling for a daily trial? Which this one involves lives. People are dying. People cannot take care of themselves. They cannot buy their medicine. What Jachi Kwesi's offense? Who has it killed? Who is dead? But this here, according to the Menzgold customers themselves, 210, to the best of their knowledge, are already gone. Why are we not giving him daily trial or the expeditious trial?
But that alone is murder.
You see, why are we not? Why are we not giving that kind of importance?
That should be a separate case on it.
Exactly. Why are we not giving that kind of importance we've attached to Jachi Kwesi's case to this Menzgold customer?
Especially in recent times when he's now come out to ask for some 650 Ghana cedis verification.
Really?
But I mean, I'll let you come in.
You let me land. So my point is that upon all that, the morals, the institutions, Bank of Ghana, whatever, as Akosia said, that, I mean, irrespective of the regime, the institutions are still institutions of this country and we are all citizens. But if we can have so much interest in a misdemeanor case, if we can have so much interest in cases that nobody is dying out of it, Bella, isn't it prudent for us to ask, why is this case left unattended to for 5 years? The gentleman has appeared in court for 36 times, yet they have not even begun trial.
Because the prosecutor said they were waiting for the AG's advice.
So it was a case management process. What was the AG doing about this for 5 years? And we have suddenly, dropped all those charges. The people that are dead, we cannot bring them back to life. And as I said, their families, their dependency ratio, people that might have even added something to the case or come to witness, they are all gone now.
So you say that moving forward, this should be a daily trial?
Exactly. We should attach, I know the AG has, he has interest. When he has interest in cases, we all know the energy in which he puts into it.
Do you see him interested in this case?
Okay, his statement came yesterday. It's been long overdue, and I wish, and I think I stand with their customers because I heard them yesterday that they want him to be arrested, as Nanaya and everybody attest to that, and also the case must be given such importance, such relevance as it has been given to Jachi Kwesi, because it's even a misdemeanor. He hasn't killed anybody. Nobody is dying out of it. Nobody is going hungry out of it. Nobody is frustrated out of it. But this one, 1 million Ghanaians, whatever the offenses were, whether they were cautioned or they were told not to invest, the point is that they have done it.
But in James Jachi Kwesi's case, the reason why it was a daily trial was because, again, Parliament was still in process and they needed to make sure exactly that they finalize or reach an agreement on this so that they can continue.
I agree.
So have they not agreed?
Well, they went ahead to vote as well. They haven't agreed on the James Jachi Kwesi matter yet.
I do not dispute this reason you just raised. But my point is that who is dying if Jachi Kwesi is in Parliament?
Okay.
Whose money is lost? So why don't we attach same relevance, same prominence? Because these are about over 1 million Ghanaians. Looking at our population, and this 1 million Ghanaians multiply by their dependency ratio.
16,000. No 1 million.
From the Menzgold customers, that's
about, but per the AG says 16,000 customers
their spokes,
with 1.68 billion cedis.
So you even just
1 million customers.
Well, per the Menzgold customers, per the convener, but then as of yesterday, the statement released by the AG said 16,000 customers.
Okay, so even multiply it by their dependency ratio, and those who are dead, and the pains families are going through and all that. So let's attach same importance, same prominence, to this case, and let's give the people. They are calling for speed. They are calling for that justice should come quickly because 5 years is long overdue. Bella. And I think we can do better.
I think we've all sort of agreed that the process should be expedited, but it's also important to know that the AG's investigation requires precision. You can't just rush to court just to start a process just because people are calling for it. Also, what is critical to the investigation is witnesses. You'd realize that people would come and say, would come and give our testimonies, and when it matters, they don't show up. And sometimes you realize that it's the same customers who are trying to retrieve the funds that would be engaged by lawyers to say that don't go and testify, we'll find your money for you. But what we need to also establish here is that the prosecution as started by the AG is not going to retrieve funds. Yes, it's actually going to ensure, or not ensure, to get the route to get number one possibly jailed. That is actually the final bit of that. Okay. That's what we need to understand. So what customers need to do is to take a class action lawsuit, band it together, have a representative group, and sue him. So whether it's him or his assets or whatever, at the end of the day, at least some reprieve will be sought. So AG's prosecution should not be confused with AG is going to collect money to come and pay them. That is not it at all. Okay. So that's why she was saying that it's important to be well informed about what the process is. People be sitting there thinking that, hey, the Nico court, but it's not that he's going to take the money and pay them back. But let's also, let's not, when we say, oh, what are they waiting for? It takes a while to build a solid case to ensure that once we start prosecution, knowing the Attorney General, Godfrey Dami, I mean, his history tells it. When he starts, he's going to finish it.
Yeah, but waiting 5 years is what everybody's asking. Why did it take so long? Yes, precision is important, but people lost their lives.
What is material to the case? If you want to go to court, and you are going to court on account of certain processes, it even includes the workers of Menzgold. What the license you don't operate with, SEC might even come in, BOG also come in, the warnings, the audits, all of that. If you don't have all that tied up together, all you have is saying that, okay, it's fraudulent, it's customers.
Then we should look at these institutions as well, because if you are issuing licenses and people are working beyond the remit of the license, and you still watch on for them to commit this level of crime.
All the institutions where that are supposed to look out for the interests of customers. It goes all the way to the police, where cases are reported beyond even abused victims. The victims themselves later on become abused even by the institutions that they go and report. So it's creative businesses like what he did. Like I said, the laws have to be looked at. Those who, if it's from Parliament, clearly they have to sit down and say, you know what, when it comes to these economies, but this ecosystems,
the Menzgold customers at the moment are in court, by the way. Which is why I mentioned, that they even sent a letter to Ioko asking for their money to be retrieved.
So that 53,
why should they
again,
the IGB?
I think with the latest...
Please let us
even with the 53, it's them as a group, there will be other groups who are also not included there, who also have to fight for their money. But the point I was raising was that AG's prosecution is not to retrieve funds. So the customers, if they are listening, should realize that their route is to sue him personally also. They should.
Because the customers are...
And that's just my advice to them, beyond what is already happening.
With the AG's prosecution, I mean, it's taken 5 years. That I still stand by that. The delay is not good for the people. And also, whatever the AG is into today, if he had done that 5 years ago, or 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, at least it would have given the people some sort of hope that it is getting somewhere. We are not saying that the
AG... to jail him, but not to retrieve the funds. That's the difference.
But at least he is starting something. Why is he doing it today if it's not important?
But it was the same customers that said, don't arrest him because when you arrest him, you will do the work.
These same customers are now calling for his arrest anyway.
They are calling for his arrest. So for the past...
So one person at a time,
let's just accept the timeline that 3 years ago, they didn't want him arrested because they wanted him to work to pay them back.
You see, what is the state representing? The interest of the people. You understand? So even if they said some years ago that don't arrest him, let him work and retrieve our money. 5 years on, they've been calling. I think I've heard this group even strongly in 2020.
Yeah.
So if the process had even begun then, I think by now we'd have gotten somewhere. So the delay, Bella, the delay was not good enough. 5 years of investigations, that's too much.